me, the beginning was the most emotional part, even more than his last at-bat. I didn't know that, A, the Mets were just going to let him run on the field by himself, which at first seemed awkward, but then you realize was pretty sweet, to his daughter throwing out the first pitch. That was the thing that got to me. I was close to tearing up at that point. At that point, I was like, man, this is some good stuff right here. When the game started, I don't know. I never thought, there was going to be this dramatic, wow, David Wright hit a home run in his last start kind of thing. We're not the Yankees. That stuff doesn't happen to us. But I am glad he drew that walk, though it seemed as if a couple of the pitches were pretty close, and maybe the home plate umpire felt, I don't know if I can get out of here alive if I punch David Wright out on a strikeout looking. The second at-bat actually led to the humor for the rest of the night, because when he pops up, it's a routine foul pop-up, and this poor Peter O'Brien makes the catch. I didn't realize, maybe I'm just not witty enough as a New Yorker, to know that this Peter O'Brien would be treated like public enemy number one for the next 3 hours. I mean, it got worse and worse. This guy was getting the John Rocker treatment. This guy was getting the Chase Utley treatment. And at first, I kept repeating to my wife, all this guy did was catch a pop-up. All this guy did was catch a pop-up. But by the end of the game, as I think he got a hit and then was pinch run for in one of the many extra innings, it did become funny after a while that the Met fans were persistent enough to just completely hate this guy for catching a routine pop-up. How dare he catch a routine pop-up of David Wright? It was a little disappointing that the brilliant Mickey Callaway took him out. It wasn't a surprise because he had basically said the other day he's going to get a couple of at-bats, he's going to play 5 innings, we're going to dramatically take him out. I mean, everything you kind of knew was happening, but I think I speak for a lot of Met fans when I say I wanted more. I mean, it was only 2 at-bats. This is his last game in the major leagues. Now, I didn't know it was going to go 13 innings or whatever it did. And I think if you knew that, you figured, yeah, we need to be entertained for more than an hour and a half. But I kind of wanted more. I understand he wasn't going to play 9 innings, but this is his last major league game. The guy's been working his ass off rehabbing for all of these months and years, basically. For him to be able to get 3 at-bats, 4 at-bats, I mean, what's the difference? What's going to happen? What terrible can happen when this is his last game anyway to keep him from getting those extra at-bats? So it was a little disappointing, but the truth is, we're not surprised. I mean, we kind of knew it was coming. You knew it was. I thought it was a beautiful video at the end with Howie Rose emceeing it. And, David walking off the field in the 5th inning was dramatic. And this is our guy. And I've said this on the air before. I don't think there's a lot of fan bases that understand some things that we deal with as Met fans. They didn't understand the no-hitter. I don't think they still understand the no-hitter and why that was special to us. And I think there's going to be a lot of baseball fans that don't get why David Wright was special to us. They'll look at David Wright and say, sure, he was a very good baseball player. It's unfortunate he got hurt late in his career, but whatever. We as a franchise and as a fan base haven't had, and I could say this for all the teams I root for in my lifetime, not of all time, but in my lifetime, I don't have the guy who spent his entire career with that team, beginning to end, good and bad. And David Wright was that guy. And it sucks that he wasn't able to be healthy and finish on his own terms. But that's sports. A lot of guys aren't able to do that. Don Mattingly wasn't able to do it. Some guys are forced out based on injury. And the last 2 years, watching and reading about him trying to come back, hearing everything he had to go through with his back and the stenosis and then the rotator cuff surgery that he had, I give him a lot of credit for being able to come back. And one thing about his speech, which I really liked, not only thanking us as fans and all that, which is typical, but how he said, and I think this shows the kind of guy he was, you guys witnessed a lot of strikeouts and a lot of errors. So he went right to the, he didn't say, yeah, you guys witnessed a lot of my home runs and doubles. He went right to the negative. You witnessed a lot of strikeouts and errors, and I'm sure there were many times where I cursed him out, where we all cursed him out, because that's what we do as New Yorkers and as fans. But now that it's all said and done, The guy had a excellent career, and when he first came up from AAA Norfolk, and you had read all his numbers at Binghamton and all his numbers at AAA, and you would have told me, you know what, Evan? This guy's going to own just about every record in Met history. He's going to play his entire career here. And you give me his final numbers, even with not being able to finish on his own terms, I think I would have pinched myself right in that moment. I think I would have said, really? So this is finally going to be the guy. I thought for a while it would be Edgardo Alfonso. They let him go. He couldn't stay healthy. Piazza was an acquisition before that. You thought maybe Todd Hundley was going to be that guy. I'm still hopeful Jacob deGrom can also be that guy if they can lock him up long term. But David was that guy. And so, for a lot of Met fans, I thank him. It is a new era next year, unfortunately. And hopefully, there will be others. Maybe Michael Conforto can have a 15-year career, and David Wright will be the beginning of many others that can spend their entire career with one team.